We're going to take our work with perimeter problems and crank it up a few notches tonight. We're going to have two sets of let statements. Number 1 and number 2 do not involve more than one let statement. So why don't you try those just to get warmed up and come back and check your answers with me. Number 1, I got a width of 5 and a length of 13, and I did check that, and it is 36. Number 2, I set it up with the fraction. However, a smarter strategy might have been to have set up your rectangle with the length as 4x and the width as x. But I did this just to show you how the fractions work, and you should have gotten a length of 12 and a width of 3, which gives me a perimeter of 30. Now we're going to work on the multiple let statements. With most of these, we're going to have an original rectangle and a new rectangle. Number 3 says the length of a rectangle is 1 inch more than 3 times the width. I'm going to let my width be x, and my length is 3 times x plus 1. If the length of the rectangle is diminished by 3, so I'm taking the 3x plus 1 and I'm diminishing it by 3, and the width is doubled, so my new width is going to be 2x. A new rectangle is formed whose perimeter is 46 inches. Find the dimensions of the original. Well, I don't have a perimeter of the original, so I'm going to use my new rectangle to solve for x. I know that perimeter is twice length plus width, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in there. 46 is twice. Now my length, I can simplify that. 3x minus 2, and my width is just 2x. So that's going to be 46 equals 2 times 5x, which is 10x minus 4. So 10x equals 50 and x equals 5. And it does go back to the original that x is the width of my original rectangle. It's going to be 5 inches by 16 inches. And to check that, I'm going to go ahead and say, what if my length is diminished by 3? Then it would be a 13-inch length, and double my width would be a 10-inch length. And so my perimeter is going to be twice 23, which is 46. Okay? The length of a rectangle exceeds its width by 4. So I'm going to start off with x and x plus 4. That's the original. If the width is doubled, so now I have a new rectangle. The width is doubled and the length is diminished by 2. So that's going to be x plus 4 minus 2, which you could just write x plus 2, okay, for the length of my new rectangle. A new rectangle is formed whose perimeter is 8 feet more than the original. Find the perimeter of each rectangle. And you're saying, yeah, but they didn't give me any perimeter here. Well, guess what? We have to set up an expression for each perimeter. So I'm going to write perimeter sub O, which represents perimeter of the original. So I have x plus 4 plus x plus 4 plus x. So that's going to be 4x plus 8. The perimeter of my new is going to be p sub n, which is x plus 2 plus x plus 2 plus 2x. So that's going to be 6x plus 4. Now what I want to do is I want to see how these relate to one another. A new rectangle is formed whose perimeter is 8 more than the original. So the perimeter of the new is 8 more than the original. So the perimeter of the new, which I now know is 6x plus 4, is the perimeter of the original and 8 more. And then I can go ahead and solve that. Pause here and do so. You should get x equals 6. So what does that mean? Let's go back and get all of our dimensions. So for the original, I had a width of 6 and a length of 10, which the perimeter of the original is going to be twice 16, which is 32, and we are in feet. Now the new, the width is going to be twice the original width, which is 12. My length is going to be 8, and so my perimeter of the new rectangle is going to be twice 20, which is 40 feet. Excellent. Let's move on. We're mixing it up with a side of a square and an equilateral triangle. A side of a square is 10 meters long than the side of an equilateral triangle. Equilateral equilateral means all sides are the same. So I'm going to let each of these sides be x. The side of the square is 10 meters longer. Again, it's a square, so all sides are the same length. The perimeter of the square is 3 times the perimeter of the triangle. Well, the perimeter of the square, so P sub s, is 4 times x plus 10. The perimeter of the triangle, P sub t, is 3 times x. And what are they telling me? The perimeter of the square is 3 times the perimeter of the triangle. So the perimeter of the square I know is 4 times the quantity x plus 10, and that's the same as 3 times, now be careful here, it's 3 times that 3x that we had. So 4x plus 40 equals 9x, and you can solve that and get x equals 8. And then I need to find the area of the square. X is 8, which means the side of my square equals 18 meters, and the area of a square is side times side, which is going to be 18 times 18, which is 364 meters squared, or square meters, however you decide to write that, and that's the area of my square. Are we having fun yet? We'll have more fun with this tomorrow. Enjoy your evening, everybody.